In today's video, we'll be studying about the adrenal gland and the pancreas, or how do they function in the, or what is their role in the endocrine system. The adrenal gland is also known as suprarenal gland because it is situated at the top of the kidney, and there is a pair of adrenal gland, one on each one on each of the kidney towards the anterior side. Now, the gland's histology, when we study, we find that it is divided into two, or the regions of the adrenal gland are divided clearly into two regions, that is the adrenal medullary region and the adrenal cortex region. The two regions, that is the adrenal medulla and the adrenal cortex, produce different kinds of hormones. Adrenal medulla produces two hormones which are known as the adrenaline or epinephrine hormone, and the second gland is noradrenaline or norepinephrine hormone. Together, these two hormones, that is the adrenaline and the noradrenaline, are known as catecholamines. They are called so because their precursor, both the hormones have similar precursor, that is tyrosine. Tyrosine is actually a protein or amino acid which is required for the synthesis of these two hormones. And the precursor, because it is the tyrosine is the precursor, therefore we call it as catecholamines. Now, the function of both the hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline, almost function in a similar manner because they help the body to prepare itself for these stressful situations, and they have the similar kind of response, that is they generate alertness, pupillary dilation, that is the raising of the hairs, increase of the heartbeat, and the increase in the rate of respiration. So these are some of the ways to fight the stressful or an emergency situation, and therefore these hormones, both the hormones, are also called as emergency hormones or fight or flight hormones because they are produced during the stressful or situation when the body is sensing any kind of danger. Also, they help in the breakdown of glycogen, which is a stored form of stored food, into glucose. This is required in the stressful situation to generate more energy. Also, they are responsible for the breakdown of lipids and proteins. So these are the hormones which are produced by the adrenal medulla region. When we study about the adrenal cortex, the hormones which are produced by adrenal cortex are known as corticoids. Now, this hormone has various roles to play. Adrenal cortex is formed of three layers: zona reticularis, zona fasciculata, and zona glomerulosa. Zona reticularis is the inner layer, that is the innermost layer. Fasciculata is the middle layer, and zona glomerulosa is the outermost layer. Now, the corticoids are divided again into two types depending upon what functioning they are performing. So they are called as glucocorticoids, and these glucocorticoids are also called as cortisols. This is one of the important, cortisol is one of the major glucocorticoids, and these actually regulate the carbohydrate metabolism. Therefore, the name glucocorticoid. So carbohydrate metabolism is regulated by cortisol. Also, the sleep and wake cycle, and besides this, many other functions are being performed. The mineral corticoids, that is the another class of corticoids. One example is aldosterone. Aldosterone is one of the major mineralocorticoid. Now, it is actually a self salt retaining hormone, and the secretion is regulated of the aldosterone is basically involved in the balance or maintaining or regulating the balance of water and electrolytes within the body, and which is very very important for normal functioning of the human body. So the aldosterone is actually a self retaining hormone, and its secretion is controlled by the sodium level, amount of the sodium in the blood. And if the amount of the salt is very less, then it sends signals to the kidney to reabsorb more sodium and release it into the blood. So the various roles are played by the corticoids, that is glucocorticoids and mineral corticoids. So the cortisols also produce anti-inflammatory reaction, and they suppress the immune response also. It stimulates the RBC production. So there are various functions performed by cortisol. Aldosterone, if we compare to the cortisol, aldosterone hormone from here we can make out it mainly acts on the renal tubular system, that is the tubular system of the kidneys, and help in the reabsorption of sodium and the release of potassium ions, because as sodium will be absorbed, more of potassium ion will be released. So it helps in maintaining the uh, balance of electrolytes and the osmotic pressure, which is very important. Now, the androgenic steroids are also produced by the adrenal gland, which play major role in the growth of the facial hair, pubic hair during the adolescent age. So these are the functions of the various glands which are being produced by the adrenal gland. Now, besides the adrenal gland, there is another gland which is known as pancreas. Pancreas is quite a familiar gland to you because you have been studying about it over the years. Now, in the human beings, this pancreas, it is located in the loop of the duodenum and is a flattened pinkish gland. Again, it was discovered by Paul Langerhans. So pancreas were discovered by Paul Langerhans in 1869, and it is a composite gland. Why we are calling it as a composite gland? Because it functions as an exocrine gland and as endocrine gland. Now, since we are talking of endocrine system over here, we'll be focusing more on the endocrine part of pancreas. Now, when the anatomy or when the histology of the pancreas is studied, there are structures which are known as islets of Langerhans. And there are around 1 to 2 million islets of Langerhans, and they are very important because islets of Langerhans have cells which are known as alpha cells and beta cells. Now, alpha cells actually form 20% of the islets of Langerhans, whereas the beta cells form around 70% of the islets of Langerhans. Alpha cells produce glucagon, whereas the beta cells produce insulin. Now, glucagon is a peptide hormone. So, this glucagon, which is being produced by the alpha cells, are important because they help in maintaining the normal level of the glucose. From this flow chart, you can make out the glucagon acts on the liver cells, and the it also stimulates and result into the production of glucose, that is the synthesis of glucose, that is known as gluconeogenesis is actually a metabolic pathway that results in the formation of glucose from the non-carbohydrate carbon substrates. So it also will increase the amount of the glucose, causing hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia, that is when the blood glucose level in the is high. So the glucagon is actually a hyperglycemic hormone, and another important role is it reduces the cellular glucose uptake. So two actions are performed by glucagon. That is, the first is it stimulates actually the production of glucose, as a result of which the glucose level is increased by the liver, and actually then it causes hyperglycemia, and that's why it is also known as hyperglycemic hormone. Insulin, which is produced by the beta cells present in the islets of Langerhans, is opposite in action. It is also a peptide hormone, and it plays a major role in glucose homeostasis. Homeostasis is the balance, that is the amount of the blood glucose level. So it regulates. Now it acts on the hepatocytes, that is the cells of the liver and the adipose tissue, and unlike the glucagon, which was reducing the cellular uptake, it increases the cellular glucose uptake and its utilization. So the utilization will take place, and as a result, there is the glucose is quickly taken from the blood to the hepatocytes and adipocytes, and as a result, the blood glucose level goes down, and it is hypoglycemia. Thus, level when the blood glucose level is low, it is known as hypoglycemia. Also, it stimulates the conversion of glucose to glycogen, which is stored in the form of this. So the glucose homeostasis, that is the amount of the glucose level within the blood, is regulated by insulin as well as glucagon. Now here you can make out that the glucagon stimulates liver, increase blood glucose level, causes insulin release by the pancreas, and it causes liver to take glucose out of the blood and store as glycogen into the liver. And the glucagon, which is released by the pancreas, causes liver to release glucose into the blood when the amount of glucose is less. So therefore, both the glucagon and the insulin play a major role in maintaining the glucose homeostasis. Now, when continuously the hyperglycemic stage is there, that means when the increased blood glucose level is maintained for a longer period of time, then a person gets a disease which is known as diabetes mellitus. And it is actually the extra glucose is present within the blood and is very harmful for the body. So it is associated with the loss of glucose through urine and formation of ketone compounds such as creatinine and all. And that is actually a stage when the person is suffering from diabetes mellitus. Now, the diabetes can be treated by giving the insulin therapy. It can be in the form of injections, and also other ways like by taking the medicines and all, diabetes mellitus can be controlled.